What is going on, everybody? Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock, presented by Bet365. I'm Eric Lindquist. You can follow me over on X at Eric Lindquist. That's always good stuff. I've got at Fantasy Tips, Matt. That is Matt Belman here down below here from the great state of Ohio. Go follow him over there. How you doing, my dude?
I'm good, man. Had a little chance to catch up before the show, so excited to be on here with you. I feel like it's been a minute. Fun slate.
Is it though? Is it a fun slate?
Depends how you use the word fun, I guess.
Yeah, fun. We're having fun. I don't know. It's going to be a pretty wild one, that's for sure. It feels nice to be correct about the starting lineup. Talked about all of that over on an article that you guys can watch. That'd be weird. You could read every single day over on Stokastic for sure. But we'll talk about the Lakers ins and outs. We're going to talk position by position here, obviously, because it's live before lock. But of course, we'll bounce around a little bit talking teams for sure. But that's not the only guy I got on hand here. We got Rich Green here as well from the projections team. Give him another shout out from the great state of Ohio. I mean, it's 2-1 over here. Go Cavs, I suppose. Is that what we're saying today?
That's what we're saying every day. Come on, Lindy.
Whatever. You're playing Memphis. God forbid. I mean, come on.
They're playing well right now.
Playing good. Oh, Donovan Mitchell is playing regular season Donovan Mitchell basketball right now.
I mean, he's been good in the playoffs before. I mean, I remember a certain Nuggets Jazz series where him and Jamal Murray went back and forth.
I remember a specific Clippers Jazz series that I attended as well that, I don't know, Terrence Mann is him at times. That was pretty wild. I got to say, one of the wilder runouts of a series, Jordan Klein producing. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. Nothing like a 40 spot coming down the pipeline from Terrence Mann. What? That happened for anybody who cares. But anyway,
the Clippers must have won a title that year, right?
It was sarcasm. I'm not a Clippers fan. That's Jordan. But anyway, smash the like button as we get going here. We got some NBA DFS monies to win. Thought I was going to win all the monies yesterday until Jamal Murray decided to break my heart. Got 11th in the $15 with Jamal Murray. I don't know how that's possible. I hate everything, but smashed by our projections team. Rashawn Holmes, we were the highest in the industry, bar none. Getting Lonnie Walker into our lives, bar none. Got to tell you, that's how you end up in stuff like the Stokastic Hall of Fame. Oh, speaking of, check out this goodness that we have going right from the get-go here. You got Stokastic Hall of Fame. If you guys want to try to get a free month of one sport here in the Sims product, go to stokastic.com/avatar, download that avatar, get yourself that avatar, and when you finish in the top 3 of a contest with over 5,000 contestants, tweet your win to Stokastic HOF. You're going to get a free month of exactly what I said, any Stokastic package for the sport of your choosing. So check it out. Really, really cool stuff. We've had some unbelievable wins. Do you have those tweets on hand, perhaps, Jordan Klein here? Because there were some doozies yesterday, no doubt about it. At the top of the mini-max for a lot of people, you could see all Stokastic avatars, different people, because again, our projections were outrageous. I'm hoping Rich Green, my guy, can run it back here for us tonight. Awesome job by Lee. Awesome job by our dev team all the time here. Love them. Glad to have them on hand here for Live Before Lock. And let's just dive right in here because the Lakers, we got the starting lineup. It's weirdly the starting lineup that I was anticipating here from this team. There was a report earlier this morning that Jared Vanderbilt, it was in the ether. People that, it helps to follow a couple of Lakers guys from here and there. But there were rumblings that Jared Vanderbilt was wearing a purple jersey, which, if you know Lakers culture, a purple jersey at shoot-around means you're starting. Jared Vanderbilt had it on. He is now going to be the starter. Rui Hachimura goes to the bench, which I think makes sense because look at the rest of the bench. It's a disaster. But Matt Belman, first reaction to that starting lineup, and how the hell do we start building out our lineups with these Lakers tonight?
I feel like this slate looks awfully similar to basically every slate we've had recently where there's a bunch of good spots. The Lakers are a really good spot tonight, but so are the Knicks and so are the Sixers. So I think you want Lakers exposure, but it's just a matter of how much to me. Are they your favorite spot on the board?
I mean, yes and no. There's obvious blowout potential here. There's no doubt about it. They're 15-point dogs, 15.5-point dogs, depending on where you're looking. But I mean, there's one guy in the 7K range, one guy in the 6K range, and everybody else on the entire team is sub 5K. I get that it's the Celtics, but it's not this crazy slow pace grinded out spot. I mean, I don't know how they score outside of Reeves and Russell creating everything. Rui maybe getting his own shot here or there, but I mean, what are we doing with the starting lineup, Rich? Because I mean, you just look at what we're looking for the Lakers. I think we had Rui a little bit higher. He's now been trimmed down here as he should in the result of him not starting here, but he's still a flat 4K. He's still the only ammunition they have coming off the bench. I mean, how do you look at these minutes for the Lakers and how do we start to break them down today?
Um, Obviously, D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves are the two safer plays in terms of minutes. Obviously, production is pretty volatile on D'Angelo Russell for sure. And then you go to like guys like Torian Prince, who's still pretty cheap and starting. Again, his production though is just so hit or miss. Vanderbilt is more of like a defensive guy. He'll chip in with like some boards and some putbacks and stuff, but he's not like a high usage offensive guy by any means. So then you go to Rui, and Rui is kind of can be that guy where he can produce a little bit on offense as well as chip in on defense and on the glass. And so I personally still like Rui, even though he's not starting. He's got a great price tag. He's still projected well, and he can definitely play more minutes than I have him projected for. Um, Going down the list, Jackson Hayes. I would be kind of weary on the Jackson Hayes play because at last 2 nights ago, I think it was when he started over Wood, he had like I think 5 stocks, which is like you can't rely on him to be getting 5 stocks every
Yeah.
game. And Christian Wood is by far and large the better point per minute producer. So even with Wood coming off the bench, he's still, I mean, it's $100. It's not much, but he's still a little cheaper than Hayes, but definitely produces a lot better than Hayes. And tonight they should, I think the Lakers will have a hard time scoring. So, I mean, maybe Wood could just shoot a lot more than he normally does and just put up a huge score.
Yeah, I think when you start breaking it down, we don't have a ton of sample size this year, but we have a much larger sample size from last year. I'm going to just go by this year, though, for the sake of, talking about it here. Matt Belman, we've got D'Angelo Russell, 1.48 fantasy point per minute guy in 77 minutes here. We've got Austin Reeves at 1.29. He's been a little bit shy of that, but right around a 1.2 baseline without both of them on the floor from last season. You've got a number of different guys that we can punt with here, but, Russell Reeves, do you have a priority between those two specifically as we start to break down the rest of them and, start to touch on that front court a little bit more?
It's got to be Reeves.
Same.
I mean, just at those price points, D'Angelo is much more volatile. I don't know. Kind of leery on spending up for any Laker here. I know like they're not really expensive, but they eat up premium positions. So
yeah. I feel pretty
Like-
good about Reeves. I mean, the thing with Reeves is obviously the $1,100 gives you a little bit more cushion where you don't get completely trounced in the idea if this goes really, really sideways, which it has a really good chance of doing. D'Angelo Russell, 7,300. If this game is competitive, he is going to be probably the reason why. He probably played very, very well. And I'd be looking at maybe having a Celtic or two scattered, whether it's Brown, whether it's Tatum, along with D'Angelo Russell. I understand that like we don't have the best spend ups per se on this slate. You don't have Embiid, James, or Davis playing basketball, but like I really like Donovan Mitchell, but Tatum is basically projected around the identical number. So I think those Russell lineups, I'm just going to try to infiltrate a little bit more Tatum. As somebody, though, who plays like 1 to 3 lineups, is that something you're considering getting to anything from Boston on this slate as a run back?
I'm playing one lineup tonight.
Okay.
And I get it. I think that like you're not even talking about a game stack, but I do think that type of logic applies more for a 4-game slate. One game goes way over the total, overtime, whatever it is. The other games just kind of suck.
Yeah.
I like Tatum as my favorite run back here. He's not a priority for me though, because Jalen Brunson is my spend up of choice here. There's no way I'm not playing Brunson. The Knicks are priced. The thing is, like, the Knicks are priced up more than they had been, but I still don't think they're expensive enough.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I wanted to jump to next. So we covered some of the Lakers stuff. I think just to recap for the Lakers stuff, we talked through that front court, back court. Christian Wood is like slam dunk 4K, right?
I think so. Our tools love him. Like, now Jackson Hayes is more expensive than him. Like, give me Wood all day. Doubt he plays a ton of minutes because he just falls out of favor everywhere he goes. But still, at 4K coming off the bench, they're going to struggle offensively, I think. Give me all the Christian Wood.
Yeah, all the Christian Wood. I'm with you. I can't get away from this one today. I do want to play some Paul Reed in my life. I do think what is interesting, looking at the board here for today, Rui Hachimura, now that that news came out really, really early, we're going from like 70% ownership down to 40% ownership he's currently at. I think that that's a lot more interesting. I think he's more interesting coming off the bench because I bet he gets staggered with just one of Reeves or Russell at times because like, it just made sense for them to basically, if they're going to have Russell and Reeves in that starting lineup, that bench is so bad, like so bad that having Rui come off of it made all the sense in all the lands. So he'll at least go out with an 18.8% usage, probably more than that, north of 20% in this spot and shoot a little bit. But yeah, Christian Wood, the much better play here. I know that I was on the Jackson Hayes side of it 2 days ago because he was a flat 3K. I will be on the Christian Wood side of it, no doubt about it here. But let's jump over to the Knicks because they get the number one matchup you want to see on the other side. The Pacers, 102.7 possessions per 48 minutes here. They have an adjusted offensive rating of 120.4. For all intents and purposes, they are steroids to inject into your game total. You have Dante DiVincenzo, who also has gotten steroids added to his game or to his price tag, but I don't care. 6,800. He's still in 2/3 of the field's lineups. Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart. I love Precious Achiuwa for tournaments today here as well. Feels like the forgotten guy at 5,800, coming off of 40 minutes last time out. I think there's more solidification. Again, I don't know what I'm trying to say. His minutes are more solid than that of Isaiah Hartenstein, I think, at this point, just because of what he can do, and then the matchup on the other side. But how are you feeling about the Knicks? How do we start to parse through them?
So I don't think that like Precious's minutes are more solid than Hartenstein. I think just right now they're easing Hartenstein back into the mix. So I love Precious today, but I also like Hartenstein in tournaments. They said he was only going to play 25 minutes last time out. He played 29. This is a nut spot for the entire Knicks roster. No OG, no Quentin Grimes. We know they're missing Randall. DiVincenzo seems like he's overpriced, but he's projected for 41.5 fantasy points at under 7K. So, yeah, he looks amazing. Brunson looks amazing. Precious, Josh Hart, like all these guys look really, really good to me. One guy I wanted to touch on, both you guys, Rich and Eric. Evan Fournier is currently our highest leverage player in the tools. I get it. He's 3K. I'm a little leery, though. Like, I know they're short on bodies, but they've shown in the past that they really don't want to play him. They've also shown times where they will give him runs. So what's your guys' take on Fournier?
I will let Rich take this one over because obviously it's a 4-game slate and we're looking for leverage, but sometimes leverage doesn't mean something works out a ton. Like, he's definitely very volatile and risky to me, but sometimes when you talk about a 3K piece of salary, I mean, Rich, we just had it with Jackson Hayes. We had it yesterday with Rashawn Holmes. I mean, 3K can mean a lot of different things, and it can do a lot for your lineups, but how are we looking at Evan Fournier tonight?
Fournier is like, he's one of the tougher guys, I think, probably for the industry to try and figure out what they're going to do with him. They have shown that they don't necessarily want to play him. However, they've been stretched so thin lately that, you had Quentin Grimes, I think the first game, a couple games ago, he played like 30, 31 minutes, and last game he played about 20, but he got hurt. He rolled his ankle or something during the game and only played 20. Also, what was weird is New York was blowing out Utah, and they said their starters in with like they're up until a minute left. They're up by like 20 the whole game and had their starters in the whole time. Right. It was so weird.
Yeah.
I think they're really trying to hope that Josh Hart got his triple-double, which he did, but it was just honestly, it was dumb. You're already like decimated by injuries. You're stretching your guys thin. You're up 20. This is the perfect chance to give them a little extra rest, and you play them as much as whatever. So that's a whole nother story. Anyways,
yeah.
I've been going back.
So the night before, if you watch the Charlotte game, Charlotte got back into that one. You had Brandon Miller go a little bit nuts in that fourth quarter, Bridges as well. They trimmed it from 20 to 12 at one point, and then they ended up bringing Brunson back in to close at the 5-minute mark. I think coming off of a game like that the night before, where there was kind of a letdown spot and the bench didn't play particularly well, I think Tibbs was just inclined to say, yeah, we're not going to do that again. And he kind of put the hammer down for it. But that's just my read of the situation. He was the coach in Minnesota once upon a time. So definitely somebody that I'm aware how much he wants to run out his starters in certain situations because he trusts nobody else.
Oh, they were up by like 20 the entire fourth. And I get what you're saying,
Yeah.
but they literally left their starters in until there's
Yep.
like 1 minute left. So I mean, whatever. That's a whole nother point. But I've just been going back and forth on what they could possibly do with Fournier, and I think he absolutely will see the floor. I guess with Dibs, you never really know. But at first I project him for around like 19 minutes, but the more I like kind of looked into it, the more I'm kind of settling around 16 minutes. I would give him like I would think anywhere between like 14 to 16 minutes, and then I don't know if Dibs just felt crazy and wanted to give him like 20. I think that's in the range of outcomes too. I think McBride's probably the more safer bet if you're looking at like one of their bench guys or bench guards to get, more minutes. And then I think Matt already mentioned Hartenstein. So he was supposed to be on like a 25-minute limit, ended playing like 29, I think. And he's someone I definitely like tonight, and I want to keep playing him because at some point, Tibbs is kind of like secretive with his information. As some night he's not going to announce it at all, and Hartenstein will just play 36 and smash. So that's kind of where I am on Hartenstein and Fournier and those guys.
Yeah. What about Miles McBride? I'm going to ask you first, Matt. Miles McBride today, 3,100 as well. If there's one guy that we know, I mean, he had been starting in the middle of the month here a couple of weeks ago. They had some pieces out, but Miles McBride, 38 and 36 minutes respectively there in those spots. He's somebody who's at least been in the rotation. I could see it be something where Tibbs slides the scale more towards him. He's been the better fantasy point per minute producer this season. He's also had just a longer leash this season, but the usage is never really there for him. Just a 17.3% usage compared to around 24, 25 you're getting for Evan Fournier, who we know likes to chuck when he gets minutes, but I'm starting to talk myself into large field tournaments, playing a little bit more Miles McBride. Is he somebody you're interested at all in tonight?
No, and it's not even really against Miles McBride. It's more that like I can't use a guard spot on him. I can't allocate that positionality on him. On a
Rich,
slate where
Miles
I'm already
McBride?
having to. I just real quick before Rich jumps in, like the only reason Fournier is even in play for me is because of his small forward eligibility. If you were only guard eligible, I would have zero interest, just like McBride. I'd rather play McBride, but I can't get there at guard playing limited lineups.
That's probably fair. Rich, any Miles McBride at 12%?
We're talking like a tournament play. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would play
large
Miles
field.
McBride. Let's not forget that Indiana plays at such a high pace that he should have a little bit extra usage there. I agree with Matt. If I'm playing limited lineups like three maxes or something like that, then yeah, I'm probably not getting a Miles McBride.
Yeah, I'm
We just
looking
don't
at
have the
Indy.
spend ups is the thing.
Yeah, it's hard.
Right?
I'm looking at Indy. Obviously, they have Nembhard. They have Halliburton, who's going to play 24, 25-ish minutes. They have TJ McConnell, who's active for tonight. He's back in the lineup, so 12 minutes. And then the front court. I mean, you're going to get 30-plus minutes from Pascal Siakam, from Miles Turner, but overall, I think they can go smaller. I think there's a way that Miles McBride, not that he plays all of the same minutes as a Quentin Grimes might, but I think there's a chance that maybe in the event that Evan Fournier isn't the guy, that Miles McBride just walks into 25-ish minutes. And at 3,100, I just think in large field tournaments that I might be more inclined. But as you said, you are using up a coveted guard spot. And the main guards that we want to be paying up for, Donovan Mitchell, somebody to be getting to, Colin Sexton, somebody for tournaments, D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves. A lot of guards that we want to be getting to that aren't necessarily $3,100 punts on this slate. So that is definitely true. But Rich, did you have anything to add to Miles McBride at all?
Anything to add? I mean, he's definitely not like a flashy play to anyone out there that's playing, doesn't know much about him. He's not like a scorer or anything. He definitely doesn't shoot a bunch. So, I mean, the upside just really isn't there. If you're playing Miles McBride, then you're basically hoping for the projection or for him to just happen to grab a couple extra rebounds or a couple extra assists to get around 20. If you were playing him hoping he has some crazy game, that's not going to happen. And yeah, there's not really the payups aren't really there tonight. I mean, you have Boston with Tatum and those guys, but they're playing the G League Lakers tonight, so who knows what that's going to look like. So if you're playing McBride, just be wary. There's not much upside there.
Here's my thing with McBride here. If you were small forward eligible, I'd go as far as to say I would play him. But when you look at how this slate breaks down, if you're playing McBride, it's to like get up elsewhere.
Yeah.
There's only 5 guys priced above 9K on this slate, no one above 10K. 4 of them are point guard, shooting guard. Only one of them is point guard, shooting guard. The other 3 are point guards and then Tatum. So like, if this were a slate where like the Lakers forward value is getting love here, so the spend up guards are getting love, that makes sense. If there were good forward options like scattered around, whether it's a Kevin Durant, whoever it is, then I'd be interested in pivoting to a McBride. I just don't really see it, again, making minimal lineups here. If I were playing in large field, I'd want exposure, because I think you're right, Eric, that he could see Grimes' role here.
Yeah, just looking for ways to get different, And one other thing, we had a super chat coming in from Robert before we move on to the next game, because again, this is live before lock. We generally go position by position, but with no deeper dive on the front end, we're kind of going game by game, which I think makes some sense on today's slate. But Robert, $2. Thoughts on Buddy Hield FanDuel GPP? Pulled it up over here. I'm playing DraftKings only today here, but over on FanDuel, Buddy Hield, pretty positively leveraged, 15.5% optimal percentage, nearly just 10% ownership. Shooting guard, small forward. The fact that he has the small forward eligibility exactly to what you were just talking about, I think that plays pretty big over on FanDuel. And Buddy Hield, he likes to chuck. That's for sure. So, Matt Belman, how do you feel about Buddy Hield for FanDuel purposes for our friend Robert here?
I'm fine with it. He's not a building block on this slate, but I think he looks slightly better on FanDuel, and he has nice positionality, nice leverage also, which always looks good for me.
Yeah, it's beautiful stuff. Also beautiful stuff was what we saw out of the lineup generator yesterday, and from our projections team, again, absolute smash by Stochastic. No doubt about it. Yesterday was awesome across the board. In fact, there was one tweet in particular for the lineup generator that just kind of needs to be repeated here on this show. Guy who took down $7,500 here. We have our guy. What is his name? What is that? At Octave302. Been following Stochastic on YouTube for a long time. Yesterday, I decided to buy the NBA lineup generator. Less than 32 hours, won 7.5K. Again, that is the invoice. He gave us the invoice. How nice of him there. But how nice for him to win 7.5K utilizing the lineup generator. We're going to be building a couple of those here on this show here. Again, Jordan Klein, the best producer in the game, named Jordan Klein, bar none. We're going to a little bit closer to lock as everything settles in, as the dust settles in, as we talk through everything. We're going to build out a couple of lineups together here, talk through this slate a little bit more in depth with the help of that lineup generator. But right now, you guys can sign up for that down below or in the video description box below, right around $20. Again, great opportunity, great price point to be able to jump in, try the tools out. It basically is the Sims tool encapsulated into the best lineups. It's getting rid of the riffraff for you, giving you a great opportunity to win money, like $7,500 in the $4 yesterday. Congratulations to our friend there. Beautiful stuff to see. But let's jump on over to the next game here. We've got Cleveland, Memphis, both of you guys being Cleveland guys. That's awfully useful. The team that's on a back-to-back here in this spot. Cleveland not playing a ton of ownership, but Donovan Mitchell, I am in love with in tournaments. 12% ownership here. I don't know if we're going to get, any kind of limitations on this back-to-back for some of these other pieces, but like we already got Evan Mobley. He's going to be out here for this one. That's pretty useful. Darius Garland, I don't think plays a ton. It was a jaw injury, but like, they're still working him back into the mix. How is Donovan Mitchell, when we have unlimited salary, only 12% on this slate against Memphis, Matt?
Because they're playing in a game with a 215 total.
Oh, that's true.
And he's more expensive than Brunson. So, yeah, I think Mitchell looks great in tournaments, but he is 300 more than Brunson and projects for 3.5 less fantasy points. So that's why he's not getting a ton of love. You've also got Reeves, Russell there. Like, I don't know. He looks good in tournaments. He's coming in with really nice leverage. 20% chance of being optimal, only 13% ownership. Give me a player like that all day. I'm not sure I personally will be able to get there, but I love the idea of getting to him.
If he's not going to be your main spend up today, is there somebody you have in mind between, you said Jalen Brunson already, that's going to be your dude?
Yeah, it's Brunson for sure for me. Like, he's a lock. I don't see how you don't play Brunson here personally. And then I also like Maxey more than Donovan Mitchell, probably like Tatum more than Mitchell just because of the positionality. For me, Mitchell's far down on the list. It's not a good matchup. low total, back to back. Not for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the question of this entire slate for me is like looking at that late night hammer and do we get Maxey out because these prices are still really advantageous. I think Paul Reed is a guy that the Sims tool's in love with that I'm in love with today. Was always nice to have that echoed from the Sims tool and from our projections that I am in the right there, that I'm probably thinking about things clearly there. Mo Bamba, somebody that I actually have a little bit of here as well in the
I
event
like
that
him.
that gets a little bit wonky as well. But Cleveland, pretty clear cut for me. It's going to be Mitchell or bust. Anything else that you like getting there at all?
Man, it is really hard to get to Cleveland
Yeah.
here, even on a small slate. Like, I think the idea of getting to Cleveland just comes in the fact that it's a small slate and like
Yep.
they're not projecting well, but weird shit happens. So I'm not playing like that, but on a 4-game slate, you can game theory it like that.
Let me double check here. We got another couple of super chats here. My friends, I've got tons of them here. I will answer those. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Eric Herman, $2. How did you land on Lonnie Walker and Holmes last night? Because I'm sharp like that, you know. Also, they were popping in our projections. They had tons of leverage, and Lonnie Walker's a guy that I think I talk about an auspicious amount on this show, where it's like there's massive upside if he just goes out and closes out a game and well, that just so happened to be the game, and he was sub 5%, 3,500. I think that had more to do with it. And again, Lee basically made it very clear that that was somebody that we were higher on in the industry than everybody else. And Rashawn Holmes, once he started 3K, I was going to take that risk just about every time against a large lineup that they had going up against Minnesota. So there is that.
I am sad about Lonnie Walker. I wrote him up in my contrarian article
You
yesterday.
did?
I did not play him. I did
It's
play
hard in
Holmes,
one
though.
lineup. If I had
In
one
lineup,
lineup,
it was so hard.
More than one lineup. Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be
because
possible.
there were so many good plays that were cheap on that slate. Like I faded Hardy. I had a really good lineup. Jamal Murray also killed me. I was not the first lineup like you, but I would have had a monster night if Jamal Murray had done what he was supposed to do. But it is what it is.
All right. Blocks me 1, member for 22 months, wood grain. I'm gripping. I don't know what that means, but I stay flossing in that candy pane, rolling dang, sipping drink on a 84 swang. How about that?
Who?
That's the right answer. We continue on. Chris Williams gifted out a ton of stochastic subs because he's the man. Michael Durbin, member for 10 months. Love to see that. Single entry core. Sorry, I'm late to the party. No. I'm late to the party here on the super chats because, again, lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of things to put together here for you on just an hour show, trying to kind of encapsulate, deeper dive, live before lock, and do all the things that we're supposed to do here on this lovely little Thursday. But single entry core, give me your 3 can't miss plays that you think are going to fit in nicely in your single entry lineup if you're playing over on DraftKings.com today.
There are a lot of good plays on this slate. And we've seen this a ton recently with teams having guys out. Memphis, Dallas, Charlotte. We're like in true midseason NBA form right now. For me personally, and all these guys are going to be owned, but the thing about this slate is even though it's only 4 games and the ownership is so concentrated, so just is what it is. Give me Brunson for sure. He's the top guy.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Christian Wood. I would say Reed if Bamba were still out, and I love Reed here, but Bamba being in does affect his upside in my eyes, just because
like
his median
both.
projection. Yeah, I like both also. But
Yeah.
in liking both, it makes me like each of them slightly less. So Brunson, Wood, Tobias.
Yeah, that game carrying a 239 total, identical to that of Lakers-Boston. Again, it's hard to get away from Lakers when you're talking about a 240 total. But again, Philly, you want to start to mix some guys in. I think that front court going up against Collins, a sprinkle of Kessler and Olynyk. I think I will definitely take some rebounding there with Paul Reed for 800, Alex. Rip to Alex. He's the man. Let's see. Anthony Masilli, fave position DK. No New York Knicks. Is Fournier viable? We talked about Fournier quite in depth. I hope you caught that part. Definitely viable, definitely extremely risky as well. But fave each position DK, no New York Knicks. You want to go through that one for the people here?
Sure. And if you missed our talk on Fournier, go Google it.
Yep. That would be useful. Point guard, not Knicks, Austin Reeves, and then D'Angelo Russell. Point guard, shooting guard for me. How about you?
What was that again? Sorry. Rich actually got my joke.
Say that again.
I said Rich actually got my joke, and I see him laughing in the background.
Oh,
Don't do it, no.
Yeah, don't Google Fournier.
oh yeah, no, don't Google. Yeah, that's his nickname. That's don't do it, please don't. But yes, point guard, we got D'Angelo Russell, shooting guard for me, Austin Reeves. How about for you?
Brunson, point guard, shooting guard. I'm gonna say Reeves.
Yeah,
because shooting guard kind of
DiVincenzo, small
sucks.
forward, just chalk.
Yeah, DiVincenzo, small forward.
Yep, power forward Tobias Harris
Yeah, Harris.
and center Paul Reed for me.
I'll go Wood.
Yeah, I mean, they're both fantastic. Those are the two. Awesome. We continue on our merry way. Lots to get to here. I promise we will get to everything here. Ace of Spade, DK Tiers. He's asking us DK Tiers. Wouldn't you know it? I built those out for the show because I knew Ace of Spade would be coming in tier 1. Here we go. It is so damn close right off the bat. I have Donovan Mitchell here for tier 1. Tier 2, Jalen Brunson by an absolute landslide. Tier 3, Jaren Jackson, pretty noticeably as well. Tier 4, Dante DiVincenzo, still over D'Angelo Russell ever so slightly. Tier 5, Austin Reeves. Tier 6, Paul Reed, the man. He needs to play well for me tonight, that's for sure. We continue on. Jake Lindland, $1.99. Single bullet DK 555. Best of luck to you, sir. How do you approach LA and Boston? We talked about that one pretty in depth here as well, but first game of the slate, you got tons of chalk with the Lakers, tons of chalk with the Knicks. Is there anything that you might want to be a little bit lower on than the field that you could wait on for Philadelphia later in the night?
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea of being real low on the field on one of these teams makes a lot of sense just because they're going to be holding hands with a lot of people. A lot of lineups are going to be really similar in these higher dollar contests. I'm also playing in that tournament. So, yeah, I mean, I think that the path you were talking about at the beginning is certainly viable. Just playing a ton of Lakers, maybe running it back with one Boston.
Yeah.
I'm leery on that. Like,
I was doing it mainly with Russell. Like,
yeah, for Russell, for
yeah.
sure. I'm worried that the Lakers just get absolutely stomped on here. And I personally like Wood and Rui the best coming off the bench. They're both good offensively. So I like those two the best. Reeves is really hard to get away from because shooting guard is not great at his price. I wouldn't mind getting away from that ownership though in higher stake stuff, just because it's not even about Reeves himself. There's so many other good plays on this slate.
Yep, that is a fact. We'll talk about a couple of them here. Scottie Pippen Jr. specifically. Alvy Schreier, $1.99. Is Pippen on FanDuel a thing tonight? Yes, on FanDuel, 4,700. He is definitely pulling some ownership over there on the blue site. On DraftKings, not somebody at 4,700 that I'm going to be giving nearly the same amount of credence to, but Scottie Pippen Jr. on the blue site, Matt, looked pretty decent.
Yeah, what's he priced there?
4,700, identical to DraftKings, which
generally so he looks better there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Looks a lot better over on
pricing is higher. Agreed.
Yep. All righty. Let's do this quick because again, we have so many super chats. We love you guys. Tons to talk through here. We're going to get to building some lineups here as well, but I want you guys to take advantage of this right now. Bet365 now also available in Louisiana. Bet one, get 365 in Louisiana, as well as Kentucky, Ohio, New Jersey, Virginia, Iowa, and Colorado. It's bet 5, get 150 in bonus bets in Kentucky, Ohio, New Jersey, Virginia, Iowa, and Colorado. But it is bet 1, get 365 in Louisiana. Now joining the states below at Bet365, I'm telling you, if you go to OddsShopper and you sort by positive EV in those states, Bet365 always has the best odds. Price. Like, they are one of the best sports books you could possibly have access to right now. Super reputable worldwide, Bet365 is, and now coming stateside only in those states for right now. So if you're in the great states of Louisiana, Kentucky, Ohio, with our guys Matt and Rich over there, New Jersey, Virginia, Iowa, or Colorado, take advantage of this promo that we have down below in that video description box, or the one that Jordan Klein is going to throw into chat here as well. It's only if you're 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Awesome stuff from Bet365. Can't advocate for it enough. Awesome odds every single day. That is a really good one. Coming to other states very, very shortly. Going to be beautiful. But we continue on our merry way, friends. Rough Buff Fire, that's fantastic. $5 super chat. Tools, not mentioning many Pacers. What Pacers look good to you, Matt Belman? Not many, because this Halliburton minutes limit just kind of mucks up everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the Pacers look relatively bad compared to these other teams. So no priorities from Indiana for me at all.
Worst team to get to on the slate, I'm pretty sure.
They're up there for sure. I mean, because Cleveland has Mitchell. Memphis is not great, but they're still missing like their entire NBA team. So they still, I guess, look kind of appealing in that regard. I'm with you. They look like the worst team on the slate.
Yep, probably there for you. SC gifted 5 stochastic DFS subs as well. Oh my God, everybody's gifting subs out the wazoo. You guys are the best. Josh Nelson, $2. Top player at each position on FanDuel. I built out a couple of FanDuel lineups because, again, I knew that these questions were going to happen. So here you are at point guard for me. We have Tyrese Maxey. That's the guy that I got to the most out of building 150 over there. At shooting guard, it is Austin Reeves for me. At small forward, it is Dante DiVincenzo. At power forward, it is Precious Achiuwa on FanDuel. That's a little bit different, 5,900. That's useful Miladi over there. Christian Wood, 5,100, pretty close to him in ownership. And then center, Paul Reed, 6,200, just a smash. Love seeing that over on FanDuel. So yeah, Paul Reed, somebody I'm going to have a lot of on DK as well. Clintwood, 83, member for 12 months. Who are some players you're ROI boosting in the Sims? Let's see. Don't think I've been doing that nearly as much here of late. I try not to get too involved with things. And if I do, sometimes I'll go change it on the projection screen. I'll go tap and do some stuff there. But once I run everything, I don't want to get too involved with trying to just ROI boost certain guys. Like that's kind of a quick fix. It's not necessarily like the less I've been doing it here of late, the more success I've been having, just trusting what is coming out here in the projections because of how much time and effort our team puts in between Rich, between Lee, between Tom, between everybody behind the scenes. So currently I am ROI boosting 0 people in my lineups. How about you, Matt Belman?
I think it's a self-defeating prophecy to do stuff like that personally.
Yeah.
Like I just let the tools do their thing. That's just me. And I will say this. I just mentioned that Memphis doesn't look good. They don't really from a median projection standpoint. Our tools love them from a leverage standpoint though.
Yeah.
And I like that on a 4-game slate.
Yeah. Jaren Jackson Jr. Hello. Hi. How are you? You're the problem. It's me. I have too much of him. And Vince Williams, I'm getting to quite a bit here as well. Good thing I'm just playing 20 lineups today. I was going to play like 50, like my normal 50. I just trimmed it down today. I feel much better on the show knowing that that's the case and I can be more helpful to you. Give up some of my ROI in order to be helpful as much as possible. So we thank you for the super chats. We thank you guys for hanging out with us. Holy crap, Joel Embiid diagnosed with torn meniscus.
Oh, that is a shame.
You said that like Jerry Seinfeld eating popcorn. Oh, that's a shame.
Well, it was kind of expected, wasn't it? Like, yeah. He looked hurt and
it was bad from the get-go. And then the rollover looked so bad. Oh,
that sucks.
A dick kick. That's a dick kick to the NBA because he's been playing so damn good.
Can't remember a player being as just physically dominant as him than as Shaq. He reminds me of Shaq with a much better like jumper. Not as imposing as Shaq inside, but he is dominant and he's right there. He's a top 3 player in the NBA. So that's how good he is.
That is so horrible. Man. Well, that happy note, we got almost 3,000 people hanging out with us. Could you smash the like button for us here? We got 20 minutes before lock. Lots to get to, Matt. We're going to speed it up here for the people as we go to the Philadelphia situation. If you want to talk late swap, if you want to talk leverage, is Tyrese Maxey that guy today? Because he's sitting there with the Q tag. This horrible news comes down. Feels like a gloom. Like, yeah, you got this dark cloud hanging over this Sixers team here today. Does Tyrese Maxey suit up today? Yes or no?
I think he plays. Like all the signs are leading up to him playing. Yeah. Usually when guys are questionable and they haven't played, I lean towards them not playing until I've seen them play. But they've said they're optimistic about him playing here. It's an ankle injury, so maybe that affects him a little bit, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know. The way I really like Maxey here. If you ask me who the one player I was scared most not to play, it'd be Maxey, but you can't play everyone. So if you're playing Brunson and Harris, et cetera, like you just can't play everyone when you're playing minimal lineups. So yeah, I like Maxey. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're okay. This comes out 2 hours after the lock of the Cleveland-Memphis game. And Obviously, you're going to probably be having that up in the air. I would have some swaps figured out to some extent. Again, I'm running 20, so I'm not as concerned about it today. But Tyrese Maxey, in the event that he is out there without Joel Embiid, which everybody's going to be on the Sixers for a long time, 9,100 against Utah in a pace up spot, 117 implied team total. That's awfully frisky. And, we've got him at 21.7% ownership, but the Q tag might scare some people off, might be doing what I'm doing. Like, I have quite a bit of Donovan Mitchell here, and maybe Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson absorb more point guard ownership than we think. But one thing I'm going to be doing in single entry, and it's very, very terrifying, I'm not going to play Jalen Brunson in single entry today, which, again, he's the highest projected about amongst everybody. So I'm not saying that you should be doing that necessarily, but one thing I want is an extra half hour to figure out what I'm going to do here with a couple of spots in my lineup. And I've kind of got Mitchell, I've got Tobias Harris, I've got Paul Reed, I've got a number of these guys.
It makes a lot of sense because when we talked about Mitchell earlier, you liked Mitchell more than I did.
I did.
So playing Mitchell instead of Brunson is totally reasonable.
Yeah. But then I'm kind of like swapping back and forth on deciding. A lot of people, and you should have a lot of lineups that are utilizing Lakers and Knicks early on. Boston, again, I'm attaching some D'Angelo Russell to Jaylen Brown, to Jason Tatum. I even have a couple of shares of Kristaps Porzingis there. He's actually the highest owned out of everybody currently in our tools. So I'm kind of attaching D'Angelo Russell to them. And then I'm not running any solo D'Angelo Russell where, he's not he's not going to be a player that I play independent of Celtic, mainly because if D'Angelo Russell goes for 45-50, this game probably ends up somewhat competitive, I would think, or it stays competitive for much longer than we could potentially think.
I would generally agree with that. Sure, there are outliers for sure, but like he usually needs a competitive game to get there with how he plays. So
yeah,
I'm with that.
It's so diluted there at the Boston spot. I know that that's maybe not like game theory optimal, but just kind of the way that I'm thinking about it with a limited amount of lineups, that's how I'm going to attack it. But Philadelphia, Tobias Harris, 42% ownership, looks really good in the tools as well. How are you feeling about Tobias tonight?
I hardly ever play Tobias, not going to lie, and I really like him tonight, which is scary. No Embiid.
That's a good feeling.
You saw him finally come back and play really well last time out. Maxey probably plays, in my opinion, but is not 100%. So you just need Harris. They're catching Utah coming home from a long East Coast road trip. I love like secretly picking on spots like this. I'm not playing Harris because of that, but doesn't make me like him any less. I think he's the safest guy from Philly. I think Maxey certainly has the highest upside, but Harris is the safest. I would be surprised if he isn't at least fine as long as this game stays competitive. And then I also do really like Paul Reed, probably more than I should, but the tools back that up, so I'm totally cool with it.
Oh, yeah. I'm playing a lot of Paul Reed tonight. Paul Reed is kind of like the make or break guy for me, it would appear, in my lineups. Obviously, that's kind of a weird way of putting it, but like the only reason that I have any Mo Bamba, I have 2 shares of him, is because I have nearly like 15 shares of Paul Reed earlier in the day.
So it's a hedge.
Tool. Yeah, a little bit of a hedge. Also, just obviously. This game is more competitive than the Lakers one by far. This is what, 5-point spread? It should be. If Maxey gets ruled out, it'll extend further, but obviously then it becomes more inclined to get to a little bit of Bamba. But Kelly Oubre Jr. feels like maybe the guy that would benefit not the most if Tyrese Maxey's out, but he would go from like not somebody that I would have any of to like, how could I get myself to Kelly Oubre? And that's where I want to talk about Colin Sexton over on the Utah side, 6,600, the most popular piece over on that side of it. Anything from Utah that you're finding into your one lineup that you're playing tonight?
First off on Oubre real quick, if all of a sudden Maxey's out and we get that news late, Oubre will be, I'm confident, the best play on the entire slate because people will not be able to get there. And he's already coming in with a ton of leverage. Like he looks good in our tools. If Maxey is out and that's late, he'll look elite. I like Sexton here, but it's hard for me to get to him because of his positionality. Like I understand the ownership, but the ownership's already there. So I like other guys more. Sexton's certainly a fine play though. If that's the route you want to go, I dig it.
All right. Jordan Klein, everybody's asking for it. Everybody needs it. They're saying,
Nuke of
stop
the night.
talking. It is freaking, I'm the Wizard of Oz over here in all green, baby. Nuke of the night. Fire it up. Look at this. Nothing like hanging out with a bunch of dudes in a Zoom room and watching my dick blow off. Hell yeah, brother. Oh, there it goes. Anyway, we're going to start with Mr. Matt Belman down here. I will get to mine then here as well. But Matt Belman, nuke of the night. Please tell the people.
My nuke of the night is going to be Paul Reed. I like him a lot here. Sorry. But
okay.
I thought about this all day, even though this is usually this gets asked when me and Greg do a show, the Velvet rope play of the day, which is the opposite.
Okay.
So
tell the people that one as well.
You can take back Paul Reed. I won't even do a nuke of the night. Pretend that never happened.
Oh, stop it. I have a different nuke now for you. I got a different one.
My Velvet rope play, and this is tough because all the guys getting ownership are good plays. I'm kicking D'Angelo Russell out of the club here. Ooh. I just like other guards more. Austin Reeves, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, to name a few. Russell's staying at home tonight. He's not getting into the club.
Find me in the club, bottles full of water because I'm sitting on my couch. I don't need to feel a buzz. Rich Green, hey, buddy. We need your nuke of the night. That is for sure. Don't think you were getting off that easy. Come on now.
I'm gonna go with a value kind of dart throw contrarian nuke of the night. You're gonna have to use a little bit of game theory with this one, but when LeBron and AD are off the floor, Max Christie actually gets a little bit of a boost in his points per minute.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
So he could potentially see a few extra minutes, and who knows if everyone's going to like Miles McBride as their 3K value piece. Why can't it be Max Christie?
Oh man!
He's either going to nuke your lineup straight to the bottom, or he's going to shoot you right to the top.
Rich Green is not into having sex. He's into taking drugs. So come give him a hug in the club. That's what we just found out there. That was me and my 50 planned words. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Obviously, Paul Reed was my nuke of the night here. So I'm going to just kind of stick with that one here as well. I find him to be an awesome piece. 6K. Now you're going to look at him being well north of 6K here sooner rather than later. Sixers are obviously going to be in a lot of trouble as a basketball team without the MVP of the season to this point. But Paul Reed is going to be one of those guys that's 7,500, 8K pretty darn quickly if he's going to play 30 minutes a night, which is kind of what we've got him in for. I think he is an absolute smash. If you want to have a co-nuke of the night, love getting to Tobias Harris as well, but he's obviously much, much more popular. So late night hammer shouldn't surprise anybody that I'm looking at a little game theory with that one. But I mean, you brought Max Christie up on this show, and that is beautiful. Hey, blowout run. Multi-positionality. Let's get a little bit weird. Let's get a little bit weird with it. That is for sure. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that nuke of the night in the books. Also in the books, we're talking sports books. Odd Shopper, you can sign up for that at the link below here or the link that Jordan Klein is going to throw into chat. We're talking a market-based approach to everybody. I do videos every single night for the NBA streets. I'll do it every single night for the MLB streets. Did it for the NFL streets. We've got amazing tools, amazing content over at Odd Shopper. And right now, when you use promo code Lindy or promo code Greg, actually don't use that because Greg's not here, but promo code Lindy for me. Hey, there you go. 20% off your first week or first month. That's $12. Just $12 to try out the tools, which the Positive EV tool is just flat rolling right now. I'm telling you, that thing is just, it is an amazing product. Can't tell you guys enough how amazing it is. But also, if you don't have legalized betting in your state, we've got a fantasy optimizer for Prize Picks, for Underdog. We also have the Discord where we're talking plays around the clock, helping you make more money, my friends. So fire it up. Odd Shopper, $12 when you use promo code Lindy there, 20% off. Awesome stuff. Cool. We continue on our merry way here. 10 minutes left. Smash the like button for me if you could. We're going to get really, really granular here with a couple of pieces here. Matt Belman, what is the play in your lineup currently that is the most uncomfortable of everybody else?
Probably Christian Wood, honestly, even though I like him a lot and he's going to be so popular. Like, there's always risk with Wood. Like, coaches just hate him. he could not play well. I mean, the thing you like about Wood is that he's so productive that if he happens to get extra minutes, like he's likely to smash. The opposite can happen too. He can just not play great tonight and get less minutes. So he's probably the guy I'm most scared about. I think overall, though, what I'm most scared about is that I don't have anyone in my lineup I'm really scared about. And that scares me because all my guys are popular. And that's how you play NBA. But usually I like to have one or two nice differentiators. I think tonight, just like the funnel of plays is too good to get away from. It just is.
Yeah. Avi Schreier, $1.99. Are Dunn and Kessler terrible run backs? Yes. Dunn is going to play like 17 minutes tonight. Kessler, there's no chance I can play Walker Kessler tonight. How about you, Matt Belman?
I don't think he's horrible at all. Like playing Kessler over Wood in an otherwise all chalky lineup. Kessler's 4,200 now. Like he projects for 21 fantasy points. Wood projects for 25. Yeah, I'd give me Wood all day there. But like, if you want one spot to be different, Walker Kessler can get there too. So like, I like Wood more, don't get me wrong. But I think thinking like that in tournaments isn't silly.
Yeah, my visceral reaction was more to Chris Dunn than what it was to Walker
Dunn
Kessler
is not even.
Yeah.
Dunn is not in play for me.
Chris Williams, $2 super chat. Chat requested Nuke. Glad to bring it to you, my friend. Thank you, everybody, for keeping me accountable for my bits. Phrasing. James Magruder, $1.99. Rich Green, Reed, and Hart. Oh, he wants Rich Green here. Let's bring in Rich Green. Reed and Hart, or Hartenstein and Achua. How about that for a 2v2? We're going to go DraftKings here. James Magruder, Rich Green, Reed and Hart, or Hartenstein and Achua.
I would go Reed and Hart.
I would definitely go Reed and Hart, but you didn't ask for my opinion. So there we are. You got Rich Green from behind the paywall. Again, I'm the Grand Wizard of Oz here in my green. It's weird having green behind me as opposed to blue, I will say. I'm not going to sing I'm blue, dabba-dee, dabba-die, even though that's what came to my head. I'm an adult.
Are you?
Matt Belman. No.
Yeah, we both said that at the same time. That's too good. That is too
same
good.
Time?
Yeah, same
freaking
exact
knuckleheads.
Time.
Gee, thanks, guys. Really, really happy. Smash
Same
the like
tone
button if
also,
you could for
like...
my friends over here. My friends, not backstabbing mother truckers. Whatever. Let's go over to the lineup generator. Let's build out a couple of lineups here in the last 7 minutes. That'll make me happy. Jordan Klein. DraftKings main. Let's go DraftKings main. Let's get a little contrarian. Can we do a little bit different here on today's slate? I'm very curious what we end up getting the most of here today, building out our 20 lineups over in the old lineup generator. Again, super easy, super awesome to be able to use that Sims tool to help you curate the best possible lineups here. Lots of Lakers. See lots of Lakers. I don't think there's any way around that one for sure, but want to see who we're getting the most of and see if you agree with that here, Matt Belman. That's for sure. We have, Dante DiVincenzo, Austin Reeves, Jalen Brunson, Paul Reed, Tobias, like all the people that I love in the entire world at the top of the board there. And then it goes Rui, Prince, Wood, D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell is the lowest of those Lakers. How do you feel about that, Matt? I think we're on the same page there.
I am, but I'm thinking about the question you asked me, what I'm most scared about. It's Russell, because last slate I played Russell and not Reeves. We saw what happened.
Yeah.
We know how DFS works. A lot of people are going to be on Reeves tonight. A lot will be on Russell, but not as many. Real quick, before we go back there, because I know we only have a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Aaron Neesmith's game log recently? He is smashing.
I don't care. I totally get it. You're going to get 3 maybe more minutes for Tyrese Halliburton here. I know Matherin out. That probably helps a little bit, but I mean, that is such recency bias. Maybe the Celtics.
I agree.
I don't know what to make of it.
The only reason I ask is because our tools love him as far as leverage goes. Like he's right below Hartenstein in the boom bust tool. 15% chance of being optimal, 8% ownership. Like, and then I looked at his game log. It wasn't like I'm not even playing him, but I just wanted to call that out.
So, I mean, in our tools, like when you're talking the boom bust as opposed to going to the Sims, I got 5% of him. And again, haven't ROI boosted, haven't changed anything there. It's a lot of chalk. DiVincenzo, Reeves, Wood. Paul Reed is a great leverage point. He's in like a third of the field's lineups. I think getting more of that makes a lot of sense. And I think Rui is an awesome leverage piece today too that, I think you got to look at it differently on a 4-game slate where the value is very noticeably good as opposed to other slates where it's like, 30, 35%. Those are things that you can get exponentially more of and have it work out for you.
You're right.
Like we're talking very low outcome performers on the bottom end there. So even if he has positive leverage, it doesn't necessarily do a ton for you on these kind of slates.
Well, I think it's the same point you made with Fournier, right? Like, even though he's coming in positively leveraged, it's still a small percent of the time he's optimal. So, like, just because you play a guy that's low owned like that, like, the goal isn't just to get the most leverage lineup. So I'm with you.
Right. Yeah. If the goal of the game were to just do that, we would just all play 1% players every single slate, right? We would just be like, hey, he's positive leverage. He's optimal 3% of the time, but you're looking for that nice mixture. And again, that's what the Sims tool does. Like the Sims tool, I think the success of it, correct me if I'm wrong, Rich, but like the beauty of it is that you're taking 10,000 simulations and you're taking the bias out of it. And you're going to get that mixture of really good chalk, the chalk that seems to be, on the surface, pretty darn calm and ready to drop bombs. But then you keep on forgetting that you need, to have a couple of those positive leverage guys coming in for the ride. For me, that tends to be somebody like a Paul Reed today. So it is what it is. But Rich, anything you want to add to the Sims tool and basically its excellence? Because, you're one of those guys.
Yeah, the Sims tool just basically maximizes your leverage. So you're not, excuse me, you're not overly leveraged and playing bad lineups, and you're not just stuck playing absolute chalk, which I think a lot of people struggle with. They see some guy at 2% owned and think, oh, this is a great leverage spot. Let me just throw this 2% owned guy and everything, which that's not necessarily how you want to do things.
All right. Yeah, no, that's a perfect way of putting it. I got to rapid fire a couple of these. We've got 3 minutes before lock. This show is just flown. This is crazy. Jorge Yakomi, $10. My dude, you're my homie, Yakomi. Thoughts on Achua and Siakam playing only 25 lineups in the tournament on DK? Matthew Belman, how do you feel about Achua and Siakam today?
I love Precious. I'm not getting there. I do like him a lot. And the other guy I'm not getting to, even though it just slipped my mind who you asked me about.
Siakam.
Yeah, Siakam, he's really good. So if I landed on him, I'm fine with it. But he's now priced up, and Halliburton is slowly getting back. Also not a good spot for Indiana. So I'd play Jaren Jackson over him.
Okay, Jaren Jackson over him. Got it. Alex Kaiser. Kaiser Sose, $2. DK single entry. Brunson and Pritchard or DiVincenzo Hart? DiVincenzo Hart by a mile.
Yeah, because Pritchard is very, very thin tonight.
Yeah, perfect stuff. Achua or Clarkson, or let's see. Achua or Clarkson. Achua for me for sure. Cool. That was actually, I think we got everything caught up there. Can we get over 500 likes here again? We have thrown an hour of fantastic content. We've incorporated the Sims tool. We've talked about OddsSharper. We've talked about Bet365, our friends there. We've had an opportunity to talk about our favorite plays across the board. We've talked about it from single entry perspective, from a large field perspective. We've given you some nuanced guys. Shit, Rich even threw out Max Christie. I just want to throw it out there for you, friends. Smash the like button for us here as we get ourselves the heck up out of here. But final words, I'm going to turn it over to Matt Belman. Any final words for the people as we get out of here?
No, fun slate, or I don't know if it's fun, but
we'll find out after.
It is a slate, if nothing else. So we got that. Always fun to do a show with you guys. So yeah, it was a good time. It went fast.
It was fantastic. Thank you, Jordan Klein. Thank you, Rich Green, for hanging out with us. Thank you, Bet365. Again, give them a look. Everything's fantastic. Everything's awesome. It's always cool when you're part of the team. That was a little bit of Lego movie for you as we get out of here. Let's go. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Jordan. I'm Eric Lindquist. Go follow us on all the socials and all of the things. It's down below. We'll see you guys next time.